I've been involved in watching this corona madness right from the get-go. And of course, watched in my own province of Saskatchewan and every other province of our country and around the world as to what is going on. Because it's clear this isn't about a virus. This is about a reset. It is. And of course, everywhere in the world, we are being confronted with legislation under those states of emergencies and public health that humans are seemingly now diseased, unless proven innocent by a vaccine. We are being molded and willed into succumbing to some sort of biotech revelation that we must engage with their system. And to make us, we are systematically being held hostage all around the world. We are. What I'm coming to understand is that it actually might be a little safer in a third world nation. Because there we expect corruption. We do. We can also use that corruption to keep ourselves safe. But see, here in the West, where we have this perceived freedom, every day they continue the fear campaign, and the government itself, through public health, is instrumental in creating the very environment for disease and toxicity to thrive by making people wear a mask. It makes zero sense. The fact that people can't breathe is a common theme of what I'm hearing, because people are kind of getting to know me as a person speaking up. And I'm getting many friend requests. When funny, before all of this, most of my following was international. I had very few people in Saskatchewan paying attention to anything I said, but they were everywhere else. And that's kind of where I found my resonance. And now all of a sudden I'm finding a lot of resonance with people here, because through our journey of losing our democratic freedoms, we found allegiance. Now, the thing is, the media, of course, we know is controlled. Propaganda, that's all they are. Because they're working in tandem to create that very fear. So by legislating, for example, that vendors, first the strong suggestions at the farmers market, that they all wear masks. And of course, you have to understand that most of these vendors are from out of town, so they live on farms. All they hear is this news. And so they're coming into town every week for the market, and they're like, scared. And that's the time we had 3 cases out of over 200,000 people. Yeah, like as many people as in a car. And this is the front line fear campaign. They are working every single day. So of course now in the hospitals, where they were not required to wear a mask before, they are now. And of course, I'm getting the reports in that they can't breathe. And that is a general theme about the mask. And my question is, why in the world would public health be promoting that people deny themselves oxygen? Their right to breathing unencumbered and uninhibited. Now you gotta know most of these cloth masks are made by a bunch of bloody opportunists. So they don't care if you can't breathe, because downtown in the restaurants here, I saw the liquor companies actually making those masks. It always makes me laugh because, see, at the beginning of the virus, I was actually concerned about masks, and the government was telling everybody they didn't need one. Just like they kept planes coming in from China every single day, and I watched it even when Trudeau said that they closed it. They didn't. They were coming every day. But in any case, on the masks, see, a lot of people didn't know me back then either, but I went on a hunt, and it was in January, and I went to everywhere, and I phoned all the wholesalers, and everybody was sold out of masks. They were sold out like the first week of January. Now, through this journey, I have a friend who is in the US, and she found out from her CVS pharmacy in Indiana that masks were sold out in the entire chain in the United States mid-November. And of course, we heard all sorts of reports, and I have throughout all this, of this virus being way before they ever said anything about it, like last fall. Apparently, according to the CVS pharmacist, Chinese were buying all of that. I have a friend who works for a distributor here in Canada, and I found out where all those masks went, and that was to China. Yeah. So that's why the government wasn't mandating a mask then. And we flattened the curve long ago, long ago. All of us across this country. And they're mandating masks. So you've got to know there's more going on. Of course, when you see people talking about, and CEOs saying that in a Zoom meeting you must cover your face when you are working out of your home, there seems to be a lot more at play. There does. In any case, I'm gathering complaints right now. And again, people, this last week I have had 5 separate nurses come my way and talk to me about what's going on and the fact that their unions are doing nothing and steamrolling right over them. Because I believe that these mandates, of course, if you can't work under those conditions and you need to breathe on your job, then you're going to have to look for a new career. And that's going to cost money. What we need to do is gather these cases and start to articulate. And what I'm trying to get people to the point of is writing out an affidavit and seriously looking at the losses from you having to change your career and be retrained into a job that won't require that you mask your humanness to perform it. Now, typically, of course, in the hospitals, this was never a practice where you had nurses all wearing a mask. As a person who doesn't like masked people, where I learned that was in the hospital. Yeah. Because that's where masked men get away with a lot. Just so you know. I find it odd that in a place where we are the superstars of COVID, and in fact, again, we've flattened the curve, that our chief medical officer wants us to feel threatened with masked men and unidentified people running around. It doesn't make sense. Because that's when public health trumps right over public safety. And the safety of women and children. Yeah. all you have to do right now is go into the Regina Police Service and you can take a look. And 2 of the 6 cases are with masked people. In any case, I want to hear from you, and I'm looking for a lawyer with some balls. Because actually, I think that a real cash cow is abound. And I would like to be part of bringing those cases to you. The problem right now is all I'm doing is telling them that, this is a steamroller. Yet, I do believe that when a job is directly affected by this legislation, then there needs to be compensation so people can move on into an environment that's more appropriate and respectful of humans and our human nature of breathing clean air. Exciting stuff too. New Zealand is on board for tomorrow. Got Vinny Eastwood of American Freedom Radio. And I caught him last night doing a live with the Advanced New Zealand Party. And I don't really want to get into politics so much right now. I mean, we have to as part of the course of learning of what's going on there. But what I really dug was his knowledge of Agenda 2030 and understanding that this is the end game right now that we're amidst. And of course, they haven't told us that because this is the Great Reset. I liked also his discussing the concept that we all need to understand right now, and that is the fact that individualism and free will is being obliterated by evil right now. And it's happening in nations just like ours. I've also got Jamaica on board. It's a busy day for me, yapping all over the world. And I'm really excited to hear from Deborah Boyle, who was one of the founding people of the organic movement here in Canada. And she's in tourism in Jamaica and has lived there for quite a few years. But what's super cool about her is that as the pandemic came down, what she did was she got out there and started an organic business, like home delivery of fresh produce while Jamaica was in lockdown. And that was, again, out of need. And interesting to see how, again, other nations are addressing all of it. So look forward to some great content in the next few days and some great interviews with people on the ground who are awake.